Hi, this is Michael. So let me give you a rundown of some of the features of this watch, starting with this clasp. So this features, notice, is Node X clasp, which if you can see, press a button that allows you to extend and adjust, because sometimes it might be a hot day, wrist swells or contracts, and you need just a little bit of refinement to make sure that it stays on your wrist. Next, let's talk about what this dial is and how it works. If you see, there are 4 hands, the running seconds. The large white hand, currently right after 3 o'clock, is your hour hand. The black longer hand, currently at about 11 minutes past, is your minutes hand. And then the 4th hand, the gray hand, currently right here, that is your GMT hand that you set to a second time zone. That hand is adjusted via the first position on the crown. Pull out one click, and you can adjust that, spin it clockwise. That adjusts the GMT hand in 1 hour increments. If you notice around what's called the chapter ring or rehat, that has your 24-hour scale that you can set to. I like to keep this set to Eastern time, which is 2 hours of where I'm ahead of right now, which means I need to put this back on 17. And then if you spin the crown towards you, that adjusts the date down there at the 6 o'clock position. Currently it is March 2nd as I record this, so I just need to spin it all the way back. There we go. If I pull this out to the second position, see it stops the second hand, and now I can adjust the time. Note that as you do, if we get back to midnight for me currently, date clicks over. It is very important to note for those of you who are not used to mechanical watches that you do not want to adjust the date between the hours of about 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That risks damaging the date wheel. Okay, so if I push this in, the second starts back up again, and I'm just going to leave it like this for now. The next thing you want to note is this bezel that rotates in 2 directions. If those of you who have had dive watches before, this bezel might look a little weird, because normally on a bezel like this that has 60 minutes, this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then 60 at the top. That is what is called a count up, because the time is counting up. This is what's called a count down bezel, because say you are cooking dinner and you want to pull it out of the oven in 30 minutes. You spin the bezel until your 30 is aligned with that minute hand, and then as time passes, the minute hand will move and it will count down to 0. This is very useful for those of us who like dive watches but don't really use them to dive when we're timing things. The other thing you might note is that this bezel can be turned in both directions. That's called bi-directional, which is very handy. Again, if you're diving, that's not so handy, but for those of us who just like the look of it, it's very cool. The last thing to note is that whereas a lot of bezels have 120 clicks, that means it clicks for every minute or second, there's 2 clicks. This, however, is a 60 click, which each click is a minute. So there we're back to that. Again, this is a very well proportioned watch. It comes on this flat link bracelet, which I currently have adjusted to about my wrist size. The links have screw pins, and that any sort of small screwdriver, like a glasses screwdriver, can be used to adjust these. It'll come on a longer bracelet than this. This is, like I said, currently sized to roughly my wrist. It also has drilled lug holes, even though this bracelet is use quick release pins, and this is not the actual case back that will be on the watch. This is the prototype. But this does have quick release pins, but you can also use a tool to to pop out the pins very easily to allow you to put it on any 20mm strap. So this is the Nodus Pen Addict Edition. All right, available soon.